I just went over that for you. If the response is inadequate, repeat steps 1 and 2 until you receive a proper response. This is where I say patience is key. Some people, it'll happen within a month, 2 months, 3 months. Some people, it could take even longer. I've had mine, when I first did it, took 9 months. And what they will do is when you send this packet out, they're going to send you a big, thick packet that says your loan documents inside. And it's all going to be photocopies of junk. Don't even open it up. Just stick it on the side. I used to open them up and look at it and nonsense and put no contract. What you do is pretend you never received that packet. Know why? Because the packet comes in regular mail. They can't prove they sent it to you. They didn't send it by certified mail. See what I'm saying? So if the response is inadequate, repeat steps 1 and 2 until you receive a proper response. Clearly label your notices as first notice. So the first letter goes out, like the one I just showed you said first notice. We didn't have to do a second notice. Then second notice, opportunity to cure. And then third notice, default. And send all of your letters certified mail. And if you want to, I didn't notarize this one. If you really want to seal a deal, put a notary on the bottom of this, a notary acknowledgement on the bottom of it, of the letter, if you want to. But I didn't do this with this. I sent it out. This is how it actually went out. No notary, and it did go certified mail. Okay. If the debt collector fails to remove the debt, file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That was that link at. I'll just go to the screen. Hang on. I'll show you what they look like. Because now you can show them and keep all of what you sent them. And you'll be like, they did not respond to me according to the requirements of this letter. Right? When you make your complaint, don't say, well, they sent me this thick packet. Don't admit to that. Just say they did not, because if it's not a response that satisfied the requirements of this letter, to me, it's not a response. I don't care what you sent me. And then we go to court, prove you sent to me. Where's the certified that you sent this letter? I don't care. You see what I'm saying? They're going to send it regular mail. Nobody, you could have got lost in the mail. Who knows? All right. So let's go to let's stop that. Share. Any questions so far? All right, this is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They have a submitted complaint section, and then you tell them what it is. Which products or services can I complain about? You can read all of that, and you just say start new complaint. They might even, I think, I haven't done this in a while, so they might ask you to set up a login. Yeah, you're gonna put your name and everything, sign it, create a password. Then after that, you get to say what type of loan. Is it a third-party debt collector? Put it in there, and then you upload all of your proof of what you sent them. Then they will contact the debt collector to get their side of it, and they have so many days to respond. Now, when they get these type of complaints from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they pretty much move on things. Now, here's some things to look out when you do send this. Some of them will send you letters saying that they're verifying this debt, you owe this, and it'll be in the regular mail. And then they will want you to fill out an identity theft packet. They want you to fill that out. Do not fill that out. All you do is keep sending that letter to them. And as I said before, it may take a while to get them to respond. I have somebody who's been working on this for a while. They kind of haven't been keeping up, and they forget to send the letters. And another thing, you need to be sending these letters every 30 days. First note to go out, 30 days go by, send it out again. Even if you get a response, you keep sending it and you send it. So when you get to the third notice default, you're just going to keep sending that last letter over and over again, like a broken record. I know it sounds weird, but it works. And guess what? They cannot report these things while you're disputing them. Now, here are the cons of this process. If you stop making payments while you're fighting them, it's a possibility they will report negative entries on your credit report for a while. I know in my case, they reported it for about 7 to 8 months. And then all of a sudden they stop reporting everything altogether. Okay? So if you're a person with good credit and you're worried about the good credit, the best option for you in this method is to have the loans deferred or in forbearance while you're doing this process. Here's the problem. People say, well, can I still make payments? No, it won't work that way, because now you're telling them these things is fraudulent and all of this, but you're still giving them money. That's not going to work. You're not. I had someone try it, and they almost 3 years in, they had got half their loans taken away, but they were so worried about the credit, they started making payments, and they playing games with them. See what I'm saying? You gotta decide what's important. The $200,000, $250,000 loan, the credit. This is the way I saw it when I was going through it. At the time, I was not planning on making any major purchases, and I really wasn't using my social for credit anyway. I still don't, for the most part. I use my trust EINs. I use my business EINs to get credit. I don't use my personal social for credit. That's the way I roll. So what I would do, if credit is an issue for you, your credit being damaged is the issue for you, and you want to make a major purchase or something like that, I would hold off, make a major purchase, and then go in. Okay? I would hold off. You don't have to rush into this. But you will get rid of those loans. They will go away if you just stay the course, doing the method over and over, wash, rinse, repeat. Same thing. There's nothing extra you got to do. I don't care what letter they send you. You're going to keep sending that letter, right? Don't let the letters, because they'll send letters to kind of throw you off, to make you think what you're doing is not working. All right? Let me see if any questions is. All right, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, or I guess I can, not a question, but give you
To people that's reporting it.
Yeah, so
The
I did it
bureaus
that
are
way.
going to play games with you, because what's going to happen, the bureaus is going to contact them to get a verification, and they're going to keep it on there.
Yeah, so I just filed a lawsuit against the bureau, like in your other packet said. I believe you filed the lawsuit against them for, I forgot what is it, dang it, the reporting violation and the fair credit reporting.
Right. They need to
And they took
report
it
it
off.
accurately. They're not really verifying it. They're getting one side of the story and saying that that's the truth. How can that be the
Right.
truth? How do you know why what they say is true and what you say is not, and you're still reporting that? That's
Right.
not fair due process. Okay.
But that was my whole thing. Did you think that was a good way to go at them? But you just said you don't
Did you
attack the
win?
bureaus at all.
Did you win?
Yeah. I got it off of TransUnion. I just
You
didn't get
got it
it
off
off.
one, but then you might be able to get it off the others. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about student loans, and whoever's trying to damage my reputation is the one that I go after. Sometimes we want things to happen and we keep worrying, is it gonna happen? It's gonna happen. Do you know you're holding it back just by seeing in your mind that it's not there yet? So you're gonna get more not there yet. Meaning you must already be living the experience or feeling the experience of which you desire. You must have that. That must be already in you, ready. So when it does show up in the physical, you're just making a connection to what you already manifested in your thoughts. You see, the physical is lagged out, meaning it's got lag. Everything that you're experiencing, what you're doing right now, it comes from the ideas of your mind, and you're experiencing those thoughts. You send forth these desires, these thoughts. What's up? Peace. You know what? I forgot to do something, so I'm gonna play another video, and I'll be right back. I might skip a few sections. Try to cover what applies to most people. So here we go. 26 CFR 31.6011B-2 employees account numbers. Requirement of application in general. I'm skipping number 1 because that's before 1962 and may not apply to most people right now. But here we go. 2. On or after November 1st, 1962, every employee who on any day after October 31st, 1962, is in employment for wages which are subject to the taxes imposed by the Federal Insurance Contribution Act, or which are subject to the withholding of income tax from wages under Section 3402, but who prior to such day has neither secured an account number nor made application therefore, shall make an application on Form SS5 for an account number. So, what's an account? Yeah, they call it an account number. And they also said Federal Insurance Contribution Act. That's FICA. That's that person. Mute your mic, everyone. I know what I'm gonna do. I will do it. All right, y'all can mute your mic. Thank you. So, got it. All right, sorry about that. All right, let's look at what Wikipedia says about the Federal Insurance Act. It says the Federal Insurance Contribution Act is a United States federal payroll or employment contribution directed towards both employees and employers to fund Social Security and Medicare. Federal programs that provide benefits for retirees, people with disabilities, and children of deceased workers. So FICA is for retirement, people with disabilities, and children of deceased workers. Okay, so it's not just for retirement. So you might know someone or you might have someone in your home that is disabled. And that's what that money is funding, right? And they said it's a contribution. So what's the definition of a contribution? Okay, because, when I think of contribution, it's a gift or payment to common fund or collection. Donation, here's the synonyms. Is my screen big enough? I'll make it a little bigger. Donation, gift, offering, present, handout, grant, subsidy, allowance, endowment, subscription, benefaction. So, by their definition, that FICA is a gift. You're giving a gift to this FICA fund. And it's not mandatory, as they may say. If you have to give up this money, you have to give away this money. Like your employer would say, and so many people with street logic would say, because the only knowledge they got is what somebody told them. Like most people.
All right. I'm sorry. I had to change my shirt. I got something on it, and I said I went down there to change it, and oh, all right. I took it off mute. Yeah, I had to change my shirt. I was down there cooking, and I got something on it and forgot to change it, but I couldn't go the whole show with that stain being on my shirt. All right. We got Luke and Apple in the house. Peace to the gods, much light to all. Peace, my brother in the circle. Peace back to you. Peace, Hakeem A. White. And above and beyond with Corinne. Happy Monday, everyone. And let me remind you, Corinne, you should always leave the link to your show in the chat. I don't allow everybody to do that. Just the chosen ones. Chosen few are able to do that. Indie Circle, you should be leaving your link in the chat. How you gonna get the word out if you're not leaving that link everywhere you go? You should be making people sick with you leaving the link somewhere. It's how you grow your channel. You promote it. All right. I want y'all to be successful. All right. And y'all can leave my link. So I hope the music ain't too loud. Maybe if I let's see, let's play this one. That should be a little bit softer. All right. I hope everybody's weekend went well. It's November the 11th. Half of the month is gone. And it's almost time to do the ritual. This week I'm gonna send out the invite for the ritual with the instructions. Make a small video, a short video. I'll get that done. I need to put that on my time boxing calendar. I'll do that before I go to bed. Write it down on my time boxing calendar. That's what I've been doing, time boxing and making sure I do the things that I have on that list. And I don't really make it too lengthy. So I do like three different things, three major things that I need to get done in order of importance. And just so you know, I understand that keeping up with these schedules is tough, because what happens when you really try to change and do something different, a lot of stuff come at you that will try to distract you. That's the universe checking to see if you really serious about making a change. If you're gonna buckle at the least little pressure that you get to push you back to where you were. So that's why you really have to work through it. It's really not the universe. It's really that adversarial consciousness that's still in you that is magnetizing all of your old stuff back to you, because it wants to put you back in that state of comfort that you were in. It's really like a mechanism of protection. No, you can't. No, that's too risky. going to try to be that millionaire and do this and go buy that big home that's gonna cost a lot to take care of. That's too risky. No, stay right here. Stay right here in this apartment. You don't have to worry about the lawn. You don't have to. They're gonna come and fix the toilet when something gets broken. Oh yeah, you got neighbors around you. You can hear everybody through the walls. But that's all right. You lived here long enough. You'll be okay with that. See, it's really that double-mindedness, that duality of that wants to stay in the comfort, and that's where that's the principality you're really fighting. I like to say universe, but no, it's really the universe is you within you that's trying to. Yeah, I'm a time box today, and I'm gonna keep up with everything. And I got off the time box, and then I got back on, and I'm last few days I've been real consistent. And today, right? Today, I'm looking at the low board, looking for lows. Man, that low board ain't never been that busy in so long. Popping up, ding, 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 ding. I said, ain't this a blip? Because I was gonna get lows, boom, move on, and get the trucks moving, and then go do some trust work, make a couple of phone calls. And before you know it, it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Usually I'm done before noon, most times. But then I realized what is it that's making all this happen? That the old me wants to stay where it's like comfortable. I mean, I did a lot of meditating over the weekend, and especially since my birthday, I've been really trying to go in on meditating, waking up, saying a prayer. And my prayers are basically, this is how my day is going to be. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a happy one. It's going to be a peaceful one. I'm not going to let anything disturb my peace. Y'all know yesterday after I got to the show and I preached all of that stuff. And as soon as I got off the show, I had commented on this video and someone responded to my comment and called me stupid. Like they went in on me just because and just to give you context, Dr. Layla Africa, big health guru, right? And he's one of the few gurus that I really could not resonate with. I agree with his teachings, but I didn't really like his approach because he taught through, to me, condemnation. Like he condemned people who didn't eat like he did, like he was teaching. The way he talked was like he was talking at people, down to people at times. The stuff I watched, that might not have been the case, but his information was correct, And so my comment in the thing is, in the chat, it was just something I said, it's interesting. He passed away at 74 years old, eating correct. I hope. Well, I assume he ate the way he taught, right? But my aunt, 105 years old, eating meat, steak, eating raw milk, drinking raw milk, bacon, all of the stuff that is considered causing a lot of our health problems. She died at 105. She lived in her home, in her apartment, up until 105. Like September, right before her birthday, September. She passed away a few years ago. She was living by herself, walking around, getting herself dressed. Then she fell one day and hurt herself, went into the hospital, basically never left the hospital after that. So I really believe had she not gone into the hospital, she still probably would be hanging in there. And then I know other relatives that lived past his age who ate barbecue all the things that that are not healthy, who live longer. That's basically I said, well, he taught this, and then I said, basically, we're typically not getting off this planet alive. Either, no matter how we eat healthy, we eat good. The people are growing old and they're passing away at some point. Live longer than Dick Gregory. He's a big health food guru at one point. Comedian turned health guru. Dr. Sebi. So of course someone responded, "Hey, he was murdered." Well, we don't know that. That's an assumption. I don't know if he was murdered. All I know, he passed away. If there's some type of conspiracy because he was teaching on health, my thing is he was 74 when he passed, right? So he been teaching that way pretty much all his life, and he taught around, did seminars and stuff like that. So the powers that be, to whoever went after him when he was 74, he already did the damage. He already taught a lot of information. So why kill him? Why take him out now? It didn't add up for me. Same thing with Dr. Sebi. He years teaching and health and doing all kinds of stuff. He passed away. He did. His situation was a little suspicious. About Dick Gregory. He died of old age. So basically, I didn't put this in a thing. I just said, one common denominator that I noticed about my aunt, she didn't let stuff stress her. I think that's more important than the diet, the stress you allow yourself to be under, how you take in situations. Diet is important, but I'm saying, listen, man, food tastes good. Them ribs be tasting good. Them yams be tasting good. The mac and cheese tastes good. And when you eat it, you enjoy it. So my point is, if you want to be a vegan, be that. Enjoy it if you're enjoying that. And if you want to eat the ribs and all that, enjoy that too. Don't let anybody guilt trip you into eating the way they want to eat. It's okay. Because when I look at the odds of living longer, I don't see it. Where if I eat this way, I'm living. Yes, you get some one-offs. Some people who do live longer being vegetarians and look great. Yes, there are a few people out there. But there's also people that look great eating meat. I remember Dr. Daniels. She went almost 30 years without eating meat. And then she realized she had to get some of that in her system because she was falling apart. I actually got an interview. I think I played some of it a couple of weeks ago or the week before. I played on Telegram, let y'all listen. She broke it down. She said, yeah, it was some of the stuff I needed from animal protein. And she got stronger. I know someone personally was frail and she went to Dr. Daniels for consultation. Dr. Daniels told her to eat a specific type of meat. She started eating and she got stronger. So, but I'm saying there's no one size fit all. There's no guarantee because you become a vegan and you just cut out all animal meats that you're gonna live longer than someone who does. Because when I just looking from my own personal observation, I know a lot of people who did not have a great diet live longer. You know what? One thing I did notice though, my aunt was not a medicine taker. She didn't go to doctors like that and take their pharmaceuticals. I'm not saying, for the sake of, and a lot of people that do tend to live a little longer were never people who took medications or pharmaceuticals. Now, that's the common denominator I noticed. But it's a lot of factors that go into longevity. A lot. So, all right. So the person called me, what did they call me? Stupid, you're a dummy. Then they actually said I was poor. They said, "Oh, you poor. You're poor and uneducated." I laughed. And basically how I responded, I said, "Well, it seems like you're being judgmental, but peace and blessings back to you." And then it was another comment when he called me stupid. I said, "I guess if you want to call me dumb, stupid, have at it if that'll heal the pain that you're in." That's how I responded. Then after that, the conversation stopped. See, I got tested, and it was like almost immediate. I got this alert, and I read it. Man, I was like, "Oh wow, why would they even?" I wasn't attacking them. Why are you coming at me like that? But then I thought about it. I said, "Dude, you just preach to people. Don't let stuff get inside of you. Now, how you gonna react to this? How you gonna tell this?" So I just send good vibes back to the person. Hope it helped. It healed them. Because anytime somebody's just attacking you and they coming at you, they're hurting. And it ain't you that's hurting them. They're hurting from something else. And then they want to see other. It's like that hurt wants to multiply. So it wants to bring it to you, bring it to your doorstep. I don't know this person. We always got these Twitter gangsters and these YouTube finger keyboard gangsters. We already know with all uncertainty, this person would never say any of that directly to me. Their computer is their protection. But are they really protected? When you coming at people like that, you leaving yourself wide open for the return of that venom, that hate. Because can't hate me, you don't know me. Can't dislike me, you don't know me. But you know you. See, only people who know and don't like themselves will get that out. That's it. So I did good on that challenge. One challenge at a time. It's like Alcoholic Anonymous, one day at a time. That's really how it is. It's one moment. Really, it's one moment at a time. Because you could do good now, and then something happen, boom, when you pop off. That's why you have to continue to renew your mind and be reminded. Anyway, so today's topic is. See, somebody put the thumbs down. See, they tested now. Let me see. See the spirit of hate come in here to change the mood. And I thumbs up to you. Anyway, so the topic of discussion is privileges, rights versus privileges. Rights versus privileges. In this world, in this system, in this country, they have taken rights that you naturally have and they're treating them as privileges. And you're not taught your rights. You're not taught the Declaration of Rights in school. Each state has something called Declaration of Rights. And some of them, let's see how they give them different names. Declaration, it all have rights in there. Let me see how South Carolina's called theirs. Theirs say Declaration of Rights. North Carolina says Declaration of Rights. So basically what it say, these are the declarations. I declare these are your rights according to the Constitution. Right? So North Carolina's Declaration of Rights, they start off like this: that the great general and essential principles of liberty and free government may be recognized and established, and that the relations of the state to the Union and government of the United States and those of the people of this state to the rest of the American people may be defined and affirmed. We do declare that. Now, I read that, but I need to make some distinctions here so you can see this. There's a few statuses mentioned in here. And there's a clear distinction between the state and the United States. Let me show you before we get into what your rights are. That the great general and essential principles of liberty and free government may be recognized and established, and that the relations of this state, so they're talking about North Carolina, to the Union meaning the 50, when this was written probably wasn't 50 states, but right now the part of the Union or the Confederation is the 50 states. To the Union and government of the United States. The government, what is the government? Legislature, your Senate, your congressmen, all of them down there in DC. That's the government of the United States. Of the United States. And where's the United States? DC. That's where it is, 10 miles square. All right. And those of the people, talking about the people of the state. The state, the union, the government of the United States, the people of the state, and to the rest of the American people, meaning the American people of the other states of the Union, be defined and affirmed. And we do declare that. So they're defining and affirming. And they declared that. Section 1. The equality and rights of persons. We hold to this to be self-evident that all persons are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, the enjoyment of the fruits of their own labor, and the pursuit of happiness. In that very sentence, there's a statement here that shows you how taxes is wrong. Taxing you on your labor is wrong. It says enjoyment of the fruits of their own labor. So if I go to work for a corporation and they say they're going to pay me a certain amount of money, but then at the same time they take money from me to give it to somebody else, you're taking the fruits of my labor and giving it away. This is your fruits to enjoy your own fruits of your own labor is a right. So for them to take your money and say you got to do this, that means that your fruits of your labor is not a right. It's a privilege. If they can take it from you, take the money from you before you even get it. Because if it's a right, then you should have a choice whether you give it to them or not. This is why W-4 forms and all that is really unconstitutional. That's why they need you to sign off on it, so that you can give up the right and convert it into a privilege. Y'all getting this? Y'all hear me? I wasn't sure really where I was going to go with all of this. But, I was just going to read the rights. But then I read these things so many times. But when I'm reading them, I'm looking for specific things. And then you go read something else, you start to, wait a minute. They are taking the fruits of my labor before I even get it. And it's supposed to be a right. They converted it into a privilege. Or I allowed them to convert it into a privilege. And the pursuit of happiness. Can you say you really are happy pursuing happiness with all of the things that you're required to do? You're required to register your car. You're required to have a driver's. You're required to pay taxes. You're required that. How are you pursuing happiness? How? When you're pursuing the interests of other entities that want to take everything from you, most of your money before you even get it. Sovereignty of the people. All political power is vested in and derived from the people. All government of right originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. So if they're making all kind of rules that you got to do this stuff you really don't want to do, then how is any of this instituted solely for your good of the whole? Because the whole don't like a lot of these things. Most people don't agree with some things that these rules that they have you pay. Every year you buy a car, they want you to pay the tax on the car, tax on the house. Even if you pay it off, you still paying for your house. Making you pay taxes on stuff they didn't even create. Calling these territories theirs when they didn't even make these territories. This is my land. Just giving y'all something to think about. So these are all rights. That's number 2. I read sovereignty of the people is a right. So when someone says I'm sovereign, I have sovereignty, oh, you're a sovereign citizen, they'll label you that. But the Constitution is clear. Sovereignty of the people. They wrote this. I didn't write this. See how they convert? They make your right to be sovereign wrong. I mean, when you really read all of this, you realize that most of the stuff you're agreeing to and going through, you shouldn't be, based on what the Constitution says. Internal government of the state. The people of this state have the inherent. What does that mean? Inherent. Existing in something as a permanent, essential, or characteristic attribute. I'm going to go to my 1828 dictionary. I had somebody, you reading definitions from modern dictionary. Okay, well, let's go to a non-modern dictionary and see what it says. Some things I don't have to pull this out because the meanings don't change. Some things they didn't change, but they didn't. They changed. Most stuff they try to change is stuff that identifies who you are, so that you can be living a lie according to your ancestry. Inherent. Inherent. Existing in something else so as to be inseparable from it. Innate. Naturally pertaining to as the inherent qualities of the magnet, the inherent right of men to life, liberty, and protection. So it's permanent. It can't be taken away from you. So they're saying there that the people of this state have the inherent sole and exclusive right of regulating the internal government and police thereof, and of altering or abolishing their constitution and form of government whenever it may be necessary to their safety and happiness. But every such right shall be exercised in pursuance of law and consistently with the Constitution of the United States. So, with that, they're saying is anytime they make a rule, it's supposed to be contributing to the happiness of the whole of the people, not to oppress them. Think about it. Most of the laws that are out here is really, and they create penals that you get. It's there to give you a problem if you don't abide by it. But the laws are really supposed to be there to make the people happy. That's what it says here. Safety and happiness. So basically, they're supposed to be really making laws that protect you and enforcing those, not making laws to protect them and keep them profitable. I'm just reading what the Constitution says. Succession prohibited. This state shall ever remain a member of the American Union. You notice they're using the word American Union. That's why it's called the United States of America, not United States. The people thereof are part of the American nation. Now, y'all really recognize why I tell y'all it's American national? Because it just said it here. Part of the American nation. And American is not written in the IRS code. It's U.S. citizen is written in that code. This says the people that are part of the American nation, there is no right on the part of this state to succeed, and all attempts from whatever source or upon whatever pretext to dissolve this union or to sever this nation shall be resisted with the whole power of the state. It said, let me read that again. This state shall ever remain a member of the American Union. The people thereof are part of the American nation. There is no right to part of the state to succeed. And all attempts from whatever source upon whatever pretext to dissolve this union or to sever this nation shall be resisted with the whole power of the state. Every citizen of this state owes permanent allegiance to the Constitution and government of the United States. No law or ordinance of the state in contravention or subversion thereof can have any binding force. See, they wrote this in, I think 1895. This was added in. But this is why I tell you guys not to do state citizenship. American national, yes. Not state citizen, because it says every citizen of the state owes permanent allegiance to the Constitution and government of the United States. Okay? Say American people. Oh, just keep that in mind. 6, separation of powers. The legislative, executive, and the supreme judicial powers of the state government shall be forever separate and distinct from each other. So you have a right to have a separate form, separation of powers in government. That's why when cops pull you over, there's no real separation of powers. He's the one looking for trouble, looking for you, stops you, writes you a ticket, and tells you what the fine is. No separation of power. And he tells you, hey, you can pay this or come to court most times, right? Representation and taxation. The people of the state shall be taxed or made subject to the payment of an impost or duty without the consent of themselves or the representatives in the General Assembly freely given. The people of the state shall not be taxed or made subject without representation, basically, is what that's saying. The redress of grievances, and this is written in the Constitution, so taxes, in a sense, is constitutional. But up there it says your labor basically being taxed is wrong. So if you have a business and you making profits, capital gains, you tax. That's a tax. But labor, there's no profit in labor. It's you trading time, your labor, in exchange. You're bartering your labor in exchange for monetary gain. You didn't profit. You provided a service. Like when I deliver freight, right? We contract for a price. I deliver it. That's a service. There's no tax on that. That's not tax. Because it's a service. Aren't you providing a service for your employers? So how do they get away with taxing you for your service? We'll get into that another time. Let's keep going. I'm gonna get down to the rights of you as a person or a spiritual man or woman of God. Let's talk about that. So let's go to 12. The people have a right to assemble together to consult for their common good, to instruct their representatives. It says to instruct, not ask, instruct, and to apply to the General Assembly for a redress of grievances. But secret political societies are dangerous to the liberties of a free people and shall not be tolerated. So secret political societies, and they got a lot of that running around here. Like a lot of y'all don't know that electors, they do their stuff in secret. You don't see those votes. You don't even think about it. You just know that you voted and that president won because he got those electors. But really, they didn't even do their election yet. They didn't elect the president officially. The vote that they go through is like in the beginning of January. Then the inauguration is towards the end of January. But they got you thinking all that's done and it's done. He this, he that, and everybody's fighting. He the president. No, he not really. It's not official. The vote, the real vote that counts, has not taken place yet. All persons have a natural and inalienable right to worship Almighty God according to the dictates of their own conscience, and no human authority shall, in any case whatever, control or interfere with the rights of conscience. This is why I tell you to use your religious beliefs as a protection for yourself. Use God as a protection. He says trust in him, but no, we trust in man-made entities. 14. Freedom of speech and the press are two of the great bulwarks of liberty. Therefore, shall never be restrained, but every person shall be held responsible for their abuse. So if you go reckless at the mouth at somebody, yeah, you got freedom of speech, but you're going to be held responsible for that. The people have the right to the privilege of education, and it is the duty of the state to guard and maintain that right. So everybody has a right to have education. So if that's true, right? You have a right to education, then that means you should have a right to go to college for free. Why are they charging you to be educated? I mean, they give you, compulsory, grades 1 through 12 free. That's technically free. I guess but most jobs, if you want to get paid well, you need a college degree. See the game? Oh, the free education ain't enough. You got to pay for it to get this extra money. See the game they played? Ex post facto laws, retrospective laws, punishing acts committed before the existence of such laws, and by them only declared criminal, are oppressive, unjust, and incompatible with liberty, and therefore no ex post facto law shall be enacted. No law taxing retrospectively sales, purchases, or other acts previously done shall be enacted. It did. You see, one place it was talking about taxes, but here it says no law of taxing retrospectively sales, purchase, and other acts previously done shall be enacted. Slavery and involuntary servitude. Slavery is forever prohibited. It says slavery and involuntary servitude. Involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the parties have been adjudged guilty, is forever prohibited. So, They can make you a slave if you commit a crime. So anything now, just about everything is a crime. Spit on the ground, you litter, that's a crime. So they can make you a slave for that. See, they just rebranded, they reformed slavery. They reworded it. It says involuntary servitude. But if you commit a crime, we can make you a slave for the state. A ward. 18, courts shall be open. All courts shall be open. Every person for injury done him in his lands, goods, person, or reputation shall have remedy by due course of law, and right and justice shall be administered without favor, denial, or delay. So if these are all rights, then why do they make you why do they make you, if you want to file a petition, you got to pay them to file the petition? If these are your rights. Law of the land, equal protection of the laws. No person shall be taken, imprisoned, or disseized of his freehold, liberties, or privileges, or outlawed, or exiled, or any man deprived of his life, liberty, or property, but by the law of the land. No person shall be denied the equal protection of laws, nor shall any person be subjected to discrimination by the state because of race, color, religion, and national origin. That's what it says, but they do that all the time. General warrants, whereby any officer or other person may be commanded to search suspected places without evidence of the act committed, or to seize any person or persons not named, whose offense is not particularly described and supported by evidence, are dangerous to liberty and shall not be granted. So basically saying they need to have warrants before they come looking for something. And it has to be supported by what? Probable cause, or some type of statement for first-hand knowledge of you doing something. So I'm not going to read all of these. One of them I want to read in particular. Militia and the right to bear arms. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And as standing armies in time of peace are dangerous to liberty, they shall not be maintained, and the military shall be kept under strict subordination to and governed by the civil power. Nothing herein shall justify the practice of carrying concealed weapons or prevent the General Assembly from enacting penal statutes against that practice. It says nothing herein shall justify the practice of carrying concealed weapons or prevent the General Assembly from enacting penal statutes against that practice. So, what they're basically saying that you can bear arms, but it can't be concealed. So, in North Carolina, it's an open carry state. So basically, you can put your gun on your hip, your arms on your hip, and you're good. But you need a permit to carry concealed. So here you have a right to carry a weapon, carry a gun on you without any permit. It must be seen. The reason why, excuse me, the reason why that's written in the Constitution, because of assassination attempts. So they want to be able to see that you are armed, that you have an arm. They want to be able to see it. But if you want to conceal it, hide it, you need to have a permit to do that. And they're going to, so that's the privilege. Concealing it is a privilege. But you have a right to openly carry your gun. And like many other states have it. South Carolina just allow people to open carry now. You see? Now, one thing you want to notice, it says you have a right to bear arms. It didn't say you have a right to bear arms unless you're a felon, convicted felon. Unless you committed some type of crime that takes that away from you. Remember what I said at the beginning. It says all these rights are inalienable. It says they're created with certain inalienable rights. So inalienable means that it can never be taken away, no matter what law they make. Now, I do have a case right here in North Carolina where that came up for issue. That they charged this guy for having a concealed weapon, blah, 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 or having a weapon, something to that effect. And I'm going to read that tomorrow on tomorrow's show. We'll go into that because that's a long, lengthy case, and it breaks down all of these people that they convicted and then robbed them of their right to bear an arm forever because they got felonies or certain types of criminal offenses. The Constitution says, uh. Then I'm going to read you out of Black's Law Dictionary, third edition, what arms mean. Because, see, they call a gun a firearm. See, that's a hint. That's how they try to get away with taking your rights. They reclassify stuff. Well, he's got a firearm, not an arm. That's a firearm. Well, they can do whatever they want. It still don't trump what the Constitution says. All right? There you have it. You have rights that all of these constitutions say you have. They wrote that. The reason why they wrote that, because over in England, they had taken people's rights. And they came here and said, no, we're not gonna have the same thing over that they doing over there in Europe. We're gonna have this, so this is the way we're gonna do things here. We're gonna put the people in charge of the government. If they don't like what the government is doing, they can change it. But do you notice that whenever someone speaks up and they silence them, they hinder their free speech? There was a lot of free speech being hindered during COVID. And then brainwashed people was trying to tell me, well, places, certain platforms, that's a private platform. No, I can't, just because I have a company, I cannot infringe on anyone's rights. Because the Constitution says my company is operating within the jurisdiction of the United States of America. So that means this business must follow the Constitution too. I can't take people's free speech away just because I don't like what it's saying. I don't agree with it. See, they come up, well, it's for the public good, and this and that. You shouldn't say this and say that. No, if we're really free, everybody gets to say what they get their say, and everybody gets protected. Meaning, just because I say something, I can't harm someone because I don't agree with what they're saying. Free speech. Now, I don't get the right to slander someone, tell a lie on someone, and then make that public and harm them and cause them some type of damage. No, I don't get to do that. Freedom of speech comes with responsibility too. But you can't just unilaterally shut someone up just because you disagree with them. I don't like what they're saying, shadow banning. That's a lot of that stuff's happening. Was happening and it still is. That's basically it. I was trying to look for some more We could talk about right of jury trial in criminal cases. Uh, right of jury trial. You have a right, in court, you have a right to have a trial by jury. All right, let's go to the chat because I'm about to get off. I've been working all day. Let's see. I see some stuff in the chat. Greetings, Akeem. My niece's father. Let me read it. Niece's father passed in 2017 in North Carolina. He wanted to put his house in her name, but she didn't go down to see him. He remarried when my sister passed. He didn't leave the new. Okay. I have to turn the volume on. My neighbors are definitely. I'm trying to read anything. Okay, he didn't. Anything in the wife's. I'm trying to get all this question out. Name that he remarried. My great nephew and the woman he married lives in the house. What will be the best way to go about this? Thanks. I need more clarification. The new. Thanks again. All right, let me read this again. My niece's father passed in 2017 in North Carolina. He wanted to put his house in her name, but she didn't go down to see him. He remarried when my sister passed. He didn't leave the new anything in the wife's name that he remarried. A great nephew and the woman he married lives in the house. What will be the best way to go about this? I'm not sure what you're asking me. You described what happened, but I'm not sure what the question is. Go about doing what? What do you want to do? Okay, maybe I missed something. Anything as of now, no one owns the house. How can this get? Somebody owns the house. It's in somebody's name. Somebody, you might want to retype that. What do you want to do with this house? You want to put it in someone's name? Is it owned free and clear? Does it have a mortgage? What? I need more clarification on that, bro. That's why I like typing. Typing is a lot. Especially when you have questions like that. I'll give you some time to kind of rephrase your question. Okay, the question is for me, for you, from me to you. What exactly would you want to do with the home? You want to put it in your name, someone else's name? What happened in probate? It sounds like this house is in probate or it was in probate. Somebody says you kind of look like DMX. What? Really? Okay. That's a first. Never heard that one before. Hmm. It's still in my brother-in-law's name, owned free and clear. So it's in his name. So you want to put it in someone else's name? If you want to put it in someone else's name, you need to go do what you go transfer the title. I think either a quick claim deed. You want to put it in your name. You need to get your brother, get with him, and do a transfer of title to your name. That's it. Quick claim deed, I think it is. I'm not a real estate person, but I would. Anytime you change the name to someone else, you got to change. You got to Go down to the county and do a change of title to the name of the person you want it to be in. And I believe that's called the quitclaim deed. That your brother will give up all ownership title to the home to you. Let's see. Okay, it's still so it's still in the brother-in-law, okay, now I understand. He passed already. So just do a quitclaim deed to your name. If you have power to do that, you're the executor of the estate. Just go do a quitclaim deed to you. You live there? It's okay. My great nephew and the woman he married lives in the house. Okay. So so let me just be clear. Your the his wife, the man who passed, his wife still lives in the house? That's important. And if he didn't have any paperwork, and they were married, it should be her property now. Really? No, yeah, should be her property. Is there a mortgage on this property? She got certain rights as his wife, as his widow. She's as the widow of Yeah, it sounds like concept because I'm picking up what's going on. It sounds like if his wife is still alive and she lives in a house, is there a mortgage on the property? Uh, so yes, to she lives in the house, or yes, is there a mortgage? This is why the trusts are important because just because you married, if there's still a mortgage in the house, the bank can kick the wife out of the house. No, there's no mortgage, so there's nobody to kick out. So I don't know what happened in probate because all of his property is supposed to go to his immediate heirs when he passed. So I don't. There's a question about probate. What happened in probate? Because usually probate decides who gets what at the end of probate. And if it's a property, most states 12 months, at least 12 months in probate. But you said this was 2017, so probate should be well over. Unless someone didn't declare that to the county, to the probate court, that he owned the property. Because you got to declare that. And then once everything's over, they give you paperwork so that whoever's going to be the heir go and transfer title into their name. Now, I do have some idea on that, how that works. Yeah, you probably need a consultation because this is a lot of details. Or you could just call the state of, well, I wouldn't call them because they might try to get you. All right. Any more questions? That's all I had. Well, it's 8:15. I'm getting off. Um, Yeah, get a consultation, my brother. So we can talk about that more in depth. Akimel.com. All right. Tomorrow night, I'll be back on 7 o'clock. I'll go over that, read that actual case law about that particular concealed weapon case in the state. Actually, is out of the state of North Carolina, too. All right. With that being said, I am gone. Gone. Peace. It's time for you to live out your purpose. It's not for me to decide what your purpose is. It's for me to just tell you, go for your purpose. Everyone has purpose. Oh, no, I can't think of nothing. No, the reason why you can't think of nothing because your mind is so convoluted with all of the polluted information that you received from the day you was born that it's covering up those treasures, that inheritance that God had for you. That's why I said it's already there. It's just you can't see it because you're looking at what man showed you. As soon as you peel that back, you'll see it. But it takes putting forth God first for you to see it. Then you start opening, wow, I could do this. I could do that. It's like a miracle. Once I get ideas, my mind is motivated on ideas, stuff just pop, 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 pop. My favorite technique to make stuff pop is once I get that first idea, move. Stop playing. Too many of y'all playing. Y'all call it planning. I call it playing. Planning and playing seem to be right in the same spelling categories. Move around a few words. I call it playing. Yeah, planning is good in some circumstances, but sometimes you get an idea, you just got to move on it. That's why Christ said, be like these children, and then you can enter the kingdom of heaven.